a.m. when I'm starting my whole reset. Why does this always happen? It's a Sunday. I had time. Like sometimes I do it on a weekday, so it makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the day has gone. Hello, beautiful people of the internet, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaden. I post a lot of lifestyle videos, a lot of wellness videos, a lot of self-help videos. Essentially, I go about my life, living it, experiencing it, and with the things that I learned, I want to give back to you guys and help women become their best selves as early as possible so they just get to relish in it and enjoy it for the rest of their lives. And today we're doing one of the most crucial things that helps you become your best self, which is resetting. We're resetting for the month of November, which I cannot believe. I can't believe it's already almost the end of the year, but also we're going into winter. It feels like summer just started, but I mean, honestly, in Colorado, it's still 70 degrees today. Not that that's any indication of what's to come. I'm gonna enjoy the heat while we have it. But as always, this is gonna be a longer video because there is a lot to cover every single month. So if you want to skip around, feel free to. There are chapters, but if you're here to stick through the whole entire thing, get a drink, get cozy, get a journal, and let's do this all together. So the first step I've been wanting to incorporate for these monthly resets is kind of a review of everything I have done with my time. So I like to call this the consumption corner. This is where I go over the books that I read, the TV shows that I watched, and the music I listened to. It's basically my monthly favorites, except I don't really do products that much. So first, we're gonna talk about the books that I read. I will put my story graph here if you do want to give it a follow. You can see all of my updates in real time. Also, if you're interested, I do a lot of updates on my Instagram story. You can check that out right here. And sometimes if you want some short form reviews or just other random content about books, I do some of that on my TikTok as well. So be sure to check those both out. But yeah, as for my full reading breakdown this month, I actually read 7 books, 6 in full, and I'm almost finished with a 7th. So the first one I read was Death Row by Frida McFadden, which was definitely on the shorter side. I think it was around 90 pages. Oh, actually 73 pages. So very, very fast. I read that on my Kindle app on my phone. This was my first Frida McFadden experience, and I wouldn't say it was bad at all, but it was just kind of meh. It didn't really stick with me, but I was definitely interested when I was reading it. I gave it 3 stars. Next, I read Happy Place by Emily Henry, which was phenomenal, life-changing, honestly. One of the best books I have ever read. The writing was good, the characters were good, it had a very strong emotional impact. I loved it. This was my second Emily Henry book. First one was Book Lovers. I did enjoy Book Lovers, but based off of that, I didn't think that any of her books were gonna be like monumentally life-changing. This one was easily 5 stars. Then I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which was my seasonal fall read. A lot of people have been getting into the series just because it's so seasonal. It was okay. Again, wasn't really life-changing. I enjoyed it. I give it 3.25 stars. Next, I read Hot for Slayer, which is an Ali Hazelwood book. Another very short one. This one is 94 pages. It's part of a little collection of just short stories with other authors. It's called the Scared Sexy collection. I thought this one was weird. Like the thought was there, the concept was cool, but it just didn't hit for me. Like there wasn't really chemistry between the characters, and I don't know, it just like, it was hard to follow. It wasn't giving what I felt like it was supposed to be giving. It felt like something you submit in like a high school or a college writing class. That's still really good for that experience, but maybe not a like published novel to be taken so seriously. I give this one 2.5 stars. So that's all that I finished. So actually I think it was 6 books in total. My bad. So I know that doesn't add up, but it's because I'm still currently in the middle of reading 2. So my current reads right now are Two Can Play, also by Ali Hazelwood, which is a audiobook only. I got it included with my premium on Spotify, so I was just like, whatever. And I'm kind of on an Ali Hazelwood binge right now, just trying to finish all of her books that I haven't read yet. I'm about halfway through that one. It's, again, okay. Nothing like that is going to change my life, but I think it's a little bit better than Hot for Slayer. And then the other one that I'm reading is also Ali Hazelwood. It is Mate. I talked about that a lot in my last vlog, how much I really wanted to get this book. So I did go out and buy it from Barnes & Noble, and honestly, It's really, really good. Allie Hazelwood for me has a very wide range. Some of her books have been very boring, very repetitive. Her characters have been like slightly annoying at times, but then some of them are so, so good. My favorite by her is Not in Love, and I think my second favorite would maybe be Love Theoretically or Bride. Probably Love Theoretically, honestly. Mate's up there now. I think it's probably gonna be top 3. I think so far it's a little bit better than Bride. But yeah, some of her other ones like Problematic Summer Romance, I did not like very much. I didn't really like Hot for Slayer. The Love Hypothesis is kind of just middle ground. I haven't read Love on the Brain yet. So like I don't know. None of them are less than like 2 stars for me, for sure. Most of them sit at the 3-4 star range. I'm not getting a lot of 5s, but I'm not getting a lot of 2s or less either. So I don't know. It's been interesting widening my like palette for her. It's been an experience for sure. So I don't know how much I'm gonna get through next month. I hope a lot because I'm actually doing a reading challenge coming up soon here, probably this week. So probably my December reset is going to have a lot of books in there as well. As for TV shows, honestly, I said this last month, but I've been watching a lot of football. Honestly, that's pretty much all I watch, but the latest season of Love is Blind just dropped. I have watched all of that, including the reunion. The reunion was so weird. Probably the worst of all of the reunions. They didn't get into like anything, which I know they have a habit of doing. It was rough, and I don't know why they were playing basketball in the middle of it, like whatever, I don't know. But the actual season outside of the reunion was probably top 3, even though it was like a train wreck. That just reignited my love for Love is Blind. Even though it was so terrible and how everything went down, it was really entertaining. And also the newest season, the second season of Nobody Wants This, was also just released, so I think I have 1 episode left. Almost binge watched the entire thing last night. I'm not in love with it. I did binge the entire first season in one night, and I don't even think it was out of real interest. I think I was just having a bad day and I wanted something on in the background, and like I slightly liked it, but I don't know if I'll be watching for a 3rd season if they do one, because yeah, I don't know, I'm just finding myself not caring so much. It's a good background show though. And lastly, we're gonna talk about music. So not a lot of new music dropped in October, I think, besides the most obvious one, which is The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. I know there were controversial opinions about this album, and I did not love it on first listen. There are still a couple songs in there that I essentially refuse to listen to. It is so difficult for me to actually sit through them, even in an ironic way. But on the other hand, there's probably 2 or 3 on there that are like top 10 for me for like all of her songs. So it's really weird because I don't feel like I hate the album anymore, but I hate a few of the songs more than I've ever hated like any of her other songs. And I've really tried. I promise I have. And that's not a diss on her. It's just not my taste for a few of them. Regardless, this has been on repeat more than any other album, I think, in October. The other one that has been picking up a lot of steam for me is In Mix, Blue Valentine. They just had a really good comeback. I really like them, but nothing will like tip me over the edge with them. But I really, really, really like this comeback. And even their B-sides on that album are really good. Consider me interested. Other than that, I've just been having the same kind of pop girlies on rotation that I always do. Sabrina Carpenter, Tate McRae. Been listening to more Chappell Roan again. Yeah, that's kind of been my rotation. But I've been also listening to a lot of podcasts. So if you know me, you know I'm always listening to Mel Robbins. If I'm gonna be listening to a podcast, it's pretty much always her. So I feel like it's needless to say she's up there. But also Dan and Phil, the 2 British YouTubers from like 2013 that everyone was obsessed with on Tumblr. I was obsessed with at the time. They just officially announced themselves as a couple, which is a huge deal for nerds, essentially. People who were in that space. Yeah, it was life-changing. It was crazy time. And they decided to make a podcast basically coming off of this couple announcement. And I've been listening to that. I think that's gonna be my religious Monday listen without fail. And then the other one I do want to give a shout out to is Pillow Talks by Vanessa and Zane. Alexander Marin, I think is how you say their last name. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it is a sex podcast, just about everything in that. I'm not really one to go into like super details, but I'm super sex positive and I love people who do talk about it and make that a big deal on their platform, because there's so many questions that people want to ask but they never do, and these are the kinds of people who just go out of their way to talk about the stuff that everyone wants to talk about but is too nervous to. So I applaud them for that, and yeah, it's been nice to have that to kind of switch up all these other vibes that I have. But I think that's all. That covers everything that has been going on in my life outside of work and YouTube and all the big stuff. So with that, let's go into the big stuff. We're gonna go into my life goals now. I'm nervous. Okay, if you guys watched my October monthly reset, I know probably a lot of you were judging me for how many goals I set in October despite accomplishing virtually nothing in September, but I'm here to happily tell you that I actually hit almost all of my October goals. So I think we're just gonna run through these really quickly. For career, I did finish OSHA 30. I am now OSHA 30 certified. Huge deal, very proud, and I did post about it on LinkedIn. It was part of my goal to post more on LinkedIn. I did not start cleaning up our badging software stuff. I guess I kind of did a little bit, but I realized that that cannot be too big of a priority right now just because of how much has been thrown on me lately. I am back to being severely overwhelmed at work and having too many tasks. So I don't know if I will be able to do it, but more so it just wasn't a priority anymore. So I didn't do that, but I don't really care anymore. For health and fitness, I did have continue my workout routine, which I would love to say I kept on top of because I was in a good headspace for it for a little bit, but then I started catching bronchitis. I had a sinus infection for like a month that was developing into bronchitis. I started to not be able to breathe as much, and any activity was like causing me to flare up and cough a lot. So I didn't feel like pushing myself in that sense. Outside of being sick, I think I did decent at it, but I just didn't do well enough to say that I was on top of it. Besides that, I have been continuing to meal prep and plan, which has been really helpful for me, and I've had a lot of things happen too that kind of reduces my need to do it as intensely. We did get a freezer at work, and now I am once again the person who is ordering all the groceries and everything. So I'm just ordering food that I'm gonna eat, which saves me money and time. That's kind of the payoff in my head for being overloaded again. On top of that, I also had tried 2 new recipes, which I want to say I tried like 3, 4, maybe even 5. I believe I tried 2 overnight oats recipes. I made steak bites. I did, I think, a crock pot meal, a ziti. I don't know if that was in October or not. Tortellini and meatballs, so probably like 6 in there. I think I did good. And last, for health and fitness, we had to increase weight on overhead presses. Because I wasn't really in the gym that much, I could not do that. For content creation, I did want to follow the YouTube strategy in this specific video that I saw, but this was another downside of being sick. I just didn't really have the motivation or energy to like take YouTube so intensely, so I did not do that. But I did want to post 4 videos that were specific to a certain kind of content, and I kind of want to keep that up every month. So I did 3 out of the 4. I did a vlog / personal style video. I did one that was more creative. I did one that focuses more on SEO and searchability, but I did not do a template / marketing based one. For social, I did go on a double date and it was really good. There's absolutely nothing to be nervous about, which is like the best feeling in the world. For hobbies, I had read 3 books, which I think was pretty obvious that I did do. I also did try a seasonal read, as I said. I feel like honestly I started taking on a lot more seasonal reads because of that. I was doing more like horror, psychological thriller for some of them just to be in the Halloween spirit more so. Then I had write another 1K words on my book. Yet again, I did not open that document really one time, and I have to figure out some kind of routine to put something on the paper because this is something that has now become really important to me again, and I don't know, I just have a lot of other things going on that's really hard to slot in time for that, like anywhere. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I would work on it a little bit at work when it was slow and when I had nothing else to do, but right now I don't have that time. I don't have time to even finish my work tasks right now, so I can't really do anything for myself. And then at home I'm usually just editing and filming and running around doing a million other things. I know I'm reading a lot, but a lot of those are for me at more convenient times. Like it's harder for me to write when I am in the car or like, I don't know, in a waiting room, but it's easier for me to just read while I'm doing those things. So I don't know. We're just gonna keep pushing that every single month and eventually it's gonna happen. For other, we did have a pumpkin carving night. I technically didn't carve mine. I painted mine, but it was still a whole event. And I think mine turned out really cute, honestly. I did the Eagles logo. Then I had to start putting my phone in another room at night. I can't believe it hasn't even been a full month or like maybe just a month since I started doing that. That has been super helpful for me. Like once I decide I'm done with my phone and I just leave it there and I have to go stand up and walk to my phone to turn off my alarm, it's been life-changing, to be quite honest. Next one was work on my digital declutter. I have not really made any progress in this. It's too big of a project. Again, I don't really have like the time. I know I could do like little pieces of it here and there, but it just feels like such a big commitment and something I have to like put hours into every week, and I just haven't been filling up for it. And lastly, we had sell my old clothes, which was on here probably the entire year so far, maybe even longer than that, but I finally finished it. Finally got everything out of my car, donated everything, and cleaned my car out. It's been good. So with all of this information, let's go on to making my November goals. Because I've been so busy, I haven't even thought about these. So we're gonna plan them out together. I can't believe it's only 5 p.m. and it's already this dark, but it's fine. This works, I guess. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I am probably gonna start my period like today or tomorrow, and I'm just not feeling very motivated, not feeling very goal oriented right now. I guess I am, but on just like a couple of things. Like I'm not feeling very like, let's tackle the world right now. So I don't think my goals are gonna be as intense as they were last month. Like I'm looking at all my categories and I just don't really have anything that I feel strongly compelled to do right now. At this moment, I don't think I have any career goals, or more so I'm just keeping that strictly in a work environment because it's gonna start killing my work-life balance if I start thinking about it too much outside of just being there. So that's how I'm gonna go back to thinking of it, at least for a little bit, just like we work on work stuff at work. Otherwise, we don't entertain it. Health and fitness, I kind of just want to get back at it. This is gonna be maintenance, focusing on the things I was already doing decent at, but was falling off with just a little bit while I was sick. So of course, continue my workout routine. I also want to think about protein every single day. This isn't hitting a specific protein goal or even making sure that I have protein every single meal. It's more so thinking about how much I'm getting. So if I am going to sacrifice it in one place, like maybe I have pasta for lunch and there's no chicken, there's no shrimp, there's nothing, just pasta, and maybe I'll have a protein shake just so I can have a little bit more. Thinking about it like that. I think for me, I've been feeling a lot healthier and a lot better in general when I'm more so thinking about getting the things that I need rather than cutting anything out. I know a lot of people say that, but it's been new for me to frame it like that. When I'm looking more at my protein and my hydration, there's just less room for all that unhealthy stuff. And same thing when you're thinking about your vegetables and your iron and all these different nutrients. If you're like, what can I eat that's gonna provide me the most of these things? Where can I add a vegetable in this? Then you don't really crave the unhealthy stuff as much anymore. And protein has been more so the bigger focus for me right now because it is something that makes you feel more full. I think that's where I'm at with the nutrition part. Not gonna track anything, including calories. We're not gonna worry about it, just gonna think about the protein. Last goal for health and fitness is the same thing I had for last month, which was increase the weight on overhead presses. I think that's the only one that I am gonna focus on. Maybe I'll just have a goal for like one exercise every single month, and with that logic, I should be going up on other things as well, but I'll just prioritize one a little bit more. For content creation, I think this is the only one that is deeply bugging me. I've been doing really well on long form videos, I feel, on here, and also I've been bringing back some content for my gaming channels, which I know I said a long time ago that I wasn't prioritizing that anymore because I wanted to focus on this channel, and that's still true. That is just a side thing for me. It's just for fun. I don't want it to ever come to the point where I'm so focused on that I'm not doing what I need to for this channel. I'm never gonna neglect this channel anymore. But it's been nice that I have been managing to keep up both. The only thing is I'm not doing short form really anymore for lifestyle stuff. I don't think I've posted on TikTok or on shorts or on reels for over a month. I do want to get back on that. I'm gonna say post 2 times a week on short form. That's my goal. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just like a little bit. I want it to be on my radar and hopefully that helps. Additionally, I do want to keep doing conceptually the same 4 kinds of videos every month. So like I said before, the template marketing one, a vlog type one, a creative one, and a SEO/searchability one. These can also merge, but I want to make sure I'm thinking about all of those things when I'm making videos. Next, for hobbies, I again want to finish at least 3 books, which I think like 2 to 5 is my sweet spot for a month. So I think I'm good on that. Unless I get in a super big slump, or if I'm reading something that I completely do not enjoy and I want to DNF, I think I'm going to keep on the grind. I shouldn't let any of those things bother me for more than like a month. If I'm trying to push through but it's hard, I might stick it out for around the month. But if it's not working, then I'll move on past that point. I also, I'm sure you could guess, want to write another 1K words in my book. You know what? Maybe just so that I have some kind of practical way to do this, maybe I want to have a dedicated writing session 1 time a week. We'll see if that works. For other, I don't think I have anything else. Oh, actually, okay, I want to add back finances as a category. I think in November, I may be able to pay off my credit card debt, because that's another huge focus. Like, if you were asking me the main things I care about and I want to focus on in November, I think it would be my money, my short form content, and honestly probably reading. That's where I'm at right now. So with that, I think it's a good time to go into the budget, because I do have some exciting news for it. All right, so now we're in our little screen recording for the budget, which I know it's been a while since I've done this, but I figured it's a little bit better for you guys to actually see it than me just say it out loud. So this is October. I expected to make about $4,800 in income, and I made a little bit over $5K. My bills were just slightly less, about $10 less than I planned. And for my expenses, it was almost $200 more. And even though my debt says $800 that I wanted to pay, and I only paid $750, that is about all I wanted to pay. And then for subscriptions, I was almost exactly right with the number. It's just there's always those little adjustments that they make. So if you take the needs, wants, and savings/debt percentage breakdown, I had around 60% in needs, around 25% in wants, and about 15% in savings and debt, which isn't too far off from the goal. I just would like my bills to go down a little bit. So like I said, I made a little bit more money than I expected. Even though my paycheck was pretty on par, I did make a good bit more than I expected in cash back, just almost 1K in cash back, which is insane. That is also the benefit of my job, because that is solely because of what I have to charge on my personal card. Nothing really interesting to see in all of these other ones. This is all business as usual, but I did mention in the last monthly reset that I did want to pay off one of my student loans, and I did do that successfully. So I had about 3K left, but $750 was on one loan, and then the remaining was on a different one. So I paid off the $750, and now I just have one remaining that is at like $2,500, I think. I feel like I did pretty good in the expenses area. I spent almost $200 less on groceries, which is probably honestly just because I went grocery shopping today rather than on Friday, which would have been still in October, but it's fine. Fast food, I spent a little bit less. Food delivery, I went a little bit over. That almost balances it out because it's a $5 difference. Or I guess, yeah, I actually spent $5 less than the expected total of these two. So that's fine. I did spend money on eating out. I don't know what that is. Let me check. Okay, that's what I thought. So I got Pizza Hut one day, which I do count as eating out, even though it's kind of fast food at the same time. So I guess if you look at all 3 of these, yeah, I went about like $50 over or $40 over. That's not too bad. though. I did expect to spend money at the pumpkin patch on my double date. I did not, so that's okay. And for shopping, yeah, that's where I went crazy. I expected to spend $200 and I spent $821.66. Honestly, I thought that was an Amazon run, but I just looked at it and it was all like my birthday stuff. So like I got a bunch of decorations to celebrate my own birthday. Got like a cake and like streamers, and I think I got a little crown, stuff like that. So I just went really crazy with that. But I also got some fall decorations as well. So I got some pumpkins and some little like leaves to put all around my apartment. Yeah, I did a little bit of damage there, but that's okay. Again, I did not go shopping for clothes. That was something I also wanted to do for my birthday. Did not do it. I think because I did so much damage in just shopping for stuff for my birthday, I didn't feel like I should go shopping for clothes anymore. For entertainment and media, I expected to spend $75. I did think there was a game expansion pass that was gonna come out in October, but I was wrong. It actually does come out in November, but instead I bought an earlier expansion pass for that game, and I got books. I think that was mostly it. I didn't spend any money in self-care. I did have to go to the doctor and get meds for the bronchitis that was developing, so I did spend about $60 there. And this 15, what was this 15 in my car? Oh, okay, that was a car wash. So yes, some things obviously are able to be cut back a little bit here. I should not have splurged as hard on decorations and stuff for my birthday, but I clearly knew where not to spend, aka on the clothes, on the self-care, on the social events and outings, because I probably could spend money if I wanted to. On the double date, I just was like, I don't need to. So yeah, there are obviously, as I just said, areas that I could improve upon, and in general, I could improve, but I'm not super mad with how things went. I ended up being positive about $300, and I didn't spend much more than I expected, just about $200 more in total. And I kind of want to show this other little tracker that I have. So I'll have to blur out a few of these for like location purposes, but because I am charging stuff for my personal expenses and also for my job, it has been really difficult to track all of these things. I believe it was in my January reset. Did I do one for January? I don't know. It was into the new year I realized how much I actually had in debt because I wasn't able to keep track of all of this correctly. It wasn't because I wasn't getting paid for stuff or like I wasn't actually logging all of these things in my work expense report so that I could get reimbursed. It's just that with my cards I was getting so confused on what everything was in their status. So for example, I can put something in my expense report once it is shipped, but sometimes that payment will still be pending on my card. But on the like flip side is sometimes something will show up on my card. It will be like a confirmed transaction, but I don't get paid until the next Friday coming up. I have to put these things in my expense report by like Tuesday to get paid by Friday. So if I have, for example, $1,000 charged, but 200 of that is from me, and I'm supposed to get like 800 of that back from work, but I haven't gotten paid yet for that, then like I would think that a lot of that was work and only pay off like 100 of my card. And I think just doing that over time got really messy and I wasn't able to track everything. And that was something that really scared me going back to being the person who's doing all of the office orders, all of the food and all of the snacks and everything, really, because it's hard for me to keep this organized on the tracker that I already had. So I made this Notion database that now keeps everything under their correct status. So I know when something is added to my expense report, as you see right here, versus when it's just a pending payment, versus when I'm awaiting my payment, like I've already submitted the expense report and it's already been approved, but I haven't gotten paid yet because I'm waiting on Friday. I also have one for awaiting approval, so I know when my expense report is in the pending status, but this also just keeps me on top of knowing how much is mine versus how much is work. And if something happens and I fuck up, I also have this status that that is not previously paid, which this is just on my personal expenses, but this is what happened. So like I kept my work expenses on track, but I was out of touch with how much I needed to pay for my personal expenses. So these ended up getting lost in translation somewhere. Now that I've made this tracker and I am back on it, I know what I'm doing now. I have these two that essentially are my credit card debt currently. And then this is just something new. But I guess this is my real amount that I owe in credit card payments because everything else is going to be work. So this is how I'm sorting it. I also have my expense reporting tab right here. And I also have another like view for that with all of my work stuff so that when I'm doing my expense reports, I'm only looking at work. And I also have them divided by cards, which I guess, yeah, let me show this Prime one. So like this is how much I have in Amazon orders right now and what their status all are. And basically this number should always match what I'm seeing when I open my banking apps. And if I want to see the pending payments as well, I can do that. And I can add up those pending payments, see if that matches the number in my pending transactions, or add up the pending transactions plus what the balance is in my credit card, and that number should also match this. So yeah, that's kind of my little spiel on how I've been managing my money because it's been really difficult for me to track it first and foremost, to not go into debt. My company, they don't really give you a guidebook on how to do this, and I have never talked to anyone else who has gone through something like this. Most people have a work card, which, you know, that's been in discussion, but it doesn't happen. So no one else I know has had this problem, not to this extent, except other admins at my company. And I don't know, honestly, I guess I could have reached out to them. I don't know how they do it, but I figured it out. I'm all good. And actually this process is now helping me a lot because I'm able to get all this cash back. I'm actually using my cards for my benefit. So I charge our catering on something that gives me 5 times points for restaurants. I do my gas on a card that gives me bonuses for gas. I do my Amazon orders on an Amazon Prime card. So now my money, even the money that I have to spend for work, is benefiting me in the long run. And I also am getting a better credit score for all of this. My credit score has finally reached 800, which has been a big goal of mine for a long time. So I'm finally there now, and I'm just like a slight bit in debt because now I have, like I said, about 2,500 I think in student loans, and then right now I'm at like 500 for credit card debt. But I'm able to take that down faster now that I'm actually able to conceptualize how much I owe. So with that being said, I'm gonna move on to November. I think, yes, I did put all of these numbers in already, but we're gonna go over them. So it is a 4 paycheck month, I believe, which means I'll make a little bit over 3K. I'm hoping to get some overtime in this month because of how much I have to do at work. So I might as well make more money doing it. But I don't think that's gonna add up to like too much more. I'd rather just like lowball it, be conservative, and then when I do make more, be happy about it. Cashback, I think, is kind of the same thing. I've been more recently doing it every time I can cash out, not just like for the month as a whole. So I don't know. I think it's probably gonna be more than 50, probably more like 200, 300 at minimum, but we'll see. Again, I'll take it as a full-blown bonus if I get it, and I'm probably just gonna put that straight into loans. So I'm not gonna be budgeting out for that. Rent is gonna be like a little bit less than 2K. That's what it is every single time. I just start with 2K and I change it when I get the actual number, which I should have now, but I haven't updated any transactions for November because I'm doing this as a November reset. Utilities, I think I've just been more spoiled with like how high I'm putting my heating and how much I'm using. So I think I'm gonna be conservative again and assume I'm spending a lot more than what I typically do. And then internet and car insurance, these are typical numbers. I already know this is exactly what it's gonna be. My subscription should also be the same. I'm not putting anything into savings because every extra bit of money is going straight into my loans. Then I'll start caring about savings. Since I have so little at this point, I know that eventually I'll be able to put it into savings. I just want the debt taken care of first. For groceries and inventory, now I'm thinking this might be a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna put it honestly all the way at 1K, which is insane. And if you look at that, it puts me like $650 down, but I'm just being being honest. I spent a lot of money on groceries today and it's only the second. I just need a really big restock. I put $100 for fast food and $150 for food delivery, which is pretty typical for me. I'm just giving myself some wiggle room, but I don't think I'm gonna be spending that much. I put $50 for entertainment and media because there is a expansion pass, as I said, that I want to get in November. And for car, I put 100. I think this was just because I think I'll be getting an oil change. Otherwise, honestly, I won't be doing a lot of things. I'll be gone a lot of weekends to do Thanksgiving activities. So probably not gonna be spending a ton on groceries, even though I put it at 1,000. Probably gonna be less. And I don't know about shopping. I feel like I always end up shopping. It's just gonna be a matter of how I feel about my situation at the time. I think right now I'm hoping to not really spend too much, but I already have some things in my mind that I want to get from Amazon. Shouldn't be like too much, maybe 50 to 100, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna put a number on any of this. I think I'd rather go a little bit more with the flow while trying to keep everything as low as possible. All of this. Maybe I'll put this at 800. I don't know, because I'm like looking at this number and this puts my needs really, really high with groceries being that high. And I really want to be able to put more into debt. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess I also should put my credit card debt in here because it's something I would like to pay off. I'll add that in later, but regardless, I think I'm gonna be looking at maybe a negative month. Guys, I can do my best with planning things out. I know I have a lot of room to grow, as I said, with my spending and just like keeping it under control, but I think at this point, like I just have to spend so much money on needs and on debt that it leaves me no room for mistakes every now and again. Just like being able to spend stuff on like fast food or like clothes or games, whatever, and like I don't like being controlled to that extent, so I need some kind of wiggle room. I need to still be able to quote unquote overspend in some areas. Trying to work through a better balance for me for that, but it is what it is right now. This is my situation and I know 100% that it's gonna get better. Like I'm not worried about it long term. It's just the era. Yeah, this is it. This is the reality of the situation right now. All right, we're in our last section. Now that we're in full dark mode, but I promise this will be quick. So the last one we have is followers trackers. I do this every month just to keep tabs on where my content is. So first we'll start with this YouTube channel. For subscribers, I went from 782 to 787. Slow, steady growth, but definitely says to me that I need to be working a little bit harder and do something a little bit different. Probably focus on short form more so. For watch hours, we went from 4.5K to 4.6K. And for views, we went from 637.7K to 638.9K. Again, steady improvement. For videos, I went from 198 to 202. So I posted 4, which were all long form. For my TikTok, oh, I actually lost followers. That's new. I went from 2,373 to 2,366. And for likes, I went from 587.1K to 588.9K. So still growth in the likes and the engagement, but I guess people unfollowed me because I haven't been posting, or I haven't been posting like good things, or they delete their accounts. I don't know. And then for Instagram, we're gonna have a crazy drop, and this is on me because I removed a shit ton of followers who I think were all bots or spam accounts or whatever. So I went from 805 followers to 555 followers. I'm hoping that in the future that will help my engagement, because I want real people following me that are actually going to like and comment and share my stuff, not just, you know, spam bots who don't even go on the account. So it's not like it's a total loss, but for me this is a little bit of a loss. I feel like I definitely can do better, and this is just gonna be my little PSA. If you guys have any ideas or anything that you see that you're like, I think this could help her out a lot, or I think she could do this a little bit better, I appreciate hearing all of those comments. I appreciate the constructive criticism. I want to know outside of my lens and how I feel about the stuff I'm putting out, you know, how it looks and how it comes across to you guys and what you guys are interested in, what you want to see more of. Feedback is everything for me. I need to hear it, honestly. So if you have any thoughts, any comments, I would appreciate them. You can leave them in the comments below. Other than that, if you did enjoy this video, definitely be sure to give it a like, and if you're feeling generous, you can even subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And if you're still needing some monthly reset inspiration, you can go and watch my previous one right here, and if you want to see the next one when it's uploaded, you can subscribe right here. But I really hope to see you guys in the next video. If not, bye bye.